First reading, a reading from the book of Revelation, chapter 14, verses 14 onwards. I, John, looked, and behold, a white cloud, and seated on the cloud, one like a son of man, with a golden crown on his head, and a sharp sickle in his hand. And another angel came out of the temple, calling with a loud voice to him who sat on the cloud, Put in your sickle and reap, for the hour to reap has come, for the harvest of the earth is fully ripe. So he who sat on the cloud swung his sickle across the earth, and the earth was reaped. Then another angel came out of the temple in heaven, and he too had a sharp sickle. And another angel came out from the altar, the angel who has authority over the fire, and he called with a loud voice to the one who had the sharp sickle, Put in your sickle and gather the clusters from the vine of the earth, for its grapes are ripe. So the angel swung his sickle across the earth and gathered the grape harvest of the earth and threw it into the great winepress of the wrath of God. Second reading, a reading from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 21, verses 5 onwards. At that time, as some were speaking of the temple, how it was adorned with noble stones and offerings, Jesus said, As for these things that you see, the days will come when there will not be left here one stone upon another that will not be thrown down. And they asked him, Teacher, when will these things be? And what will be the sign when these things are about to take place? And he said, See that you are not led astray, for many will come in my name, saying, I am he, and the time is at hand. Do not go after them. And when you hear of wars and tumults, do not be terrified, for these things must first take place, but the end will not be at once. Then he said to them, Nation will rise against nation, and the kingdom against kingdom. There will be great earthquakes, and in various places famines and pestilences, and there will be terrors and great signs from heaven. This is the word of the Lord. Today's Bible study tells us about the end of time, which signifies the second coming of Christ Jesus. Jesus speaks about the end of time and the impending persecutions the followers will undergo in his name, and advises us to consider such troubled times as opportunities to bear witness. Saint John explains his vision of the Son of Man seated on the clouds with golden crown and sickle as the judge and ruler of the world. It says everything which Jesus foretold would happen before the end of time, hence the need to wait for him in careful watch. The world in our time too goes through persecution, war, violence, and the church suffers for faith and lack of faith. It becomes hard for Christians to remain steadfast in faith. There are signs that warn us to be alert and watchful to meet the end of time, and no one may deceive us before we meet the Son of Man. Let us remember, every end is a meeting point from where another journey begins, and so the end of our time. The old passes and the new begins, and after the end of all struggles, the real joy springs up.